Maybe one day I'll become a fan of the American football as well. But for now, I'm not. It's only Kukachi. Kukachi, give us an update of the NFL right now.
Quick update: the NFL got to the divisional round starting last over the weekend on Saturday. The Philadelphia Eagles, the number one ranked team in the NFC, defeated the New York Football Giants 38-7. Similar to the same scoreline they had in 2018 when they went on to win the Super Bowl. They're the favorites. They'll be hosting the NFC Championship between them and the winners of my team, San Francisco 49ers, and America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. On the other hand, the number one ranked team, Kansas City Chiefs, even though they got a scare yesterday when Patrick Mahomes left temporarily with a high ankle sprain, they still managed to beat the new kid on the block, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars by one touchdown or one score. So they are waiting for the winners of the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills. And if you remember, these two teams were supposed to meet in week 17 when we had that incident with Damar Hamlin, who is currently in the stadium watching from the suite, but his presence has not been enough to inspire the Buffalo Bills. They are currently trailing the Bengals 27-10. It's the fourth quarter. It looks like it's going to be a repeat of last year's AFC Finals, AFC Championship game between the Chiefs and the Bengals. Let's see what happens. We'll give you an update next week. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Kachi. Straight to football right now, and I'm going to start with the Pep pressure. Pep is the only, if there's a manager in this world right now that has done enough to criticize his own fan base, that's Pep Guardiola. 4 league titles in the past 5 years. Like, I was like, yo, I don't see the fans doing enough. You guys booed us after the first half, after the disastrous first half, so to speak. And it wasn't even disastrous. Those 2 goals came in quick succession against Spurs. And they booed, and I'm like, okay, it was like, okay, maybe because we've done so much, we've given them 4 league titles in the last 5 years, they don't understand or appreciate what we do anymore. And maybe the players themselves are not hungry enough. And I saw a little bit of take the taxes for Guardiola. Bringing in the guys I've no one with me, guys like Pedro Navarez, guys like Jack Grealish, like, okay, you guys should try and do, or maybe Grealish won 1, hasn't won like 4 in a row, like, okay, you guys go do something. Nico Palmer, the young academic guy, and he's trying to do, but do you think Guardiola has done enough in football to criticize his own team, the fan base, and the way he's going about on and on about us now? Is this a good time to start playing the mind game? It's like, yo, we won the league 4 times in the last 5 years. Arsenal have not even won it in 2 decades. So to speak, and it goes on. And is it too early to start playing the mind game right now? Or this is just about the time to start doing that when the pressure start piling? You know what pressure does to Arsenal. Last season they had the Champions League in their hands, and somehow they managed to fumble it. When they came back, they corrected themselves. When push came to shove, they could not get across the finish line. Sorry, Kachi, I'm going to start with you.
Thanks, Debo. First, I think Pep obviously has earned the right to criticize his players and do that openly. He's a serial winner. He has proven himself in 3 major leagues. Not just fluking it like maybe Pep Klopp, who has only won once. He has won 4 of the last 5. But that's just a side dig at Olayinka and the Liverpool fans. But the thing is, it is not a surprise when it comes to the behavior of the fans. It is not a surprise to see or hear the Mancunian fans, the blue half of Manchester act this way. A lot of them, did not come. They were not coming into the stadium when they were in the doldrums of the Premier League, getting relegated every other year. These are people who only started coming in the Manuel Pellegrini era, or not even Pellegrini, not even Mancini era, the Mancini era, and they are sport. These are not battle-tested fans. We see them. A lot of people have criticized the atmosphere at the Etihad on Champions League night, so it is not a surprise. Pep Guardiola has visited the biggest stadiums, playing the biggest games as an away team, and he knows the energy that the fan base brings. Imagine the cup being silent when they needed 4 goals to beat Barcelona in that Champions League semi-final. So he knows what he's talking about. He has seen it happen in other teams. He knows that sometimes the push players need to scale a hurdle comes from the fans. They don't call the fans the 12th man for nothing. It is scientifically proven that playing at home and having the vociferous shouts of your fans backing you up can add an extra step to you. So when you are now playing at home and the speakers, the microphones can pick up the chants of the away team louder than your team, even though you clearly have the best team, the better team playing on that day, then it's embarrassing. And if he does not call them out, it tells me that he is not passionate and is only there to make a name for himself. He spoke out of passion. Let's not forget that he will not also be the first coach to come out and openly criticize his players. I don't know, I didn't have the pleasure of meeting you guys then, but I remember the famous Jose Mourinho meltdown that year when everyone thought Chelsea would get relegated, the year after they won the league. And he openly, Olale, I'm sure you can remember this meltdown that I'm talking about, the post-match meltdown.
It was
throwing everybody
after their travel to
Norway under the bus. So it won't be the first time, especially when it elicits the reaction you need. Erling Haaland was not getting involved, not getting goals. They needed a kick up his backside. And we saw the results against Wolves. A hat-trick, even scoring more hat-trick than Ronaldo managed in the English Premier League. So to answer your question, yes, Pep Guardiola is right because he has earned it, not just with City, but he has earned the right to say that openly because of what he has done in his career. And to be honest, I say this, I don't know about the people living in England, but anybody who currently supports Manchester City right now is a disgruntled Arsenal fan who left to find a new winning base. So whatever is happening right now, that side of United are not known to stand through thick and thin for their fans, and sometimes you need a manager with the stature of Pep Guardiola to remind them of what they
Oracle Kachi, before you go, sorry, on a lighter note, on what you said about disgruntled Arsenal fans, you see, the Arsenal fan tree adds a lot of branches.
Yes.
The Thugs moved to Chelsea at the early part of 2004. Some who could not phantom those disappointments after 2006 went to Barcelona. So from Barcelona, they still want to find a way of having mouths in England. They now have to follow Pep to Man City.
To City.
So
yes, and that's why you know that those City fans are very fickle. Champions League games, City struggles to sell out their stadium on Champions League night. That tells me that not to talk of the Premier League, and maybe they don't. Maybe
of the Premier League.
They are the Brooklyn. Oh my God, Olale, that's a low blow. That is a very low blow. But the truth is the truth. Right now, it's easier to get a playoff ticket involving the Nets in Brooklyn than it is to even get the regular season ticket involving the Warriors in the NBA. And I think that's the same thing. This team they don't even understand that the word fan is derived from the word fanatic. That means you are die in the wood a supporter of football.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I watched that interview. I appreciated it because sometimes you need to tell these people the honest truth. They've been stout so far.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Robokachi. Olale, is it too early to start the mind game right now? Or the time for the mind game right now? Let's start. Destabilize us now, right now, and whatever comes out of it comes. You know.
Now, as it stands, Arsenal they are leading City by 5 points with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Game in hand could be very deceptive at times.
Exactly.
Because in your head, you tend to count it as 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Why it is not guaranteed. But let me assume that probably Arsenal wins that and they probably get
against Everton.
Let's say they establish a 8-point lead over City. Why the mind games have to start now is Pep Guardiola will be targeting. I think that game against Arsenal, both home and away, comes like very close. I think they are like a week or 2 weeks in between the two games.
Yeah.
City will be looking at nothing less than a 6 point out of that, as a maximum 6 points, for them to erase whatever lead Arsenal seems to have. But even at that, yes, my game starts from now. I think Pep has probably earned that right to do this kind of mind games. 4 titles in 5 years. You can say probably 4 titles in 6 years because he was in England when Antonio Conte won that title with Chelsea in 2017. And so we've seen 2 teams winning titles while he was there. So he has earned the right. He has been in the game for so long. All those talk about after losing the Manchester derby that okay, we've won enough. They are just mind games.
Mind games, of course.
And I hope for Arsenal, for their own good, they need to block their ear against any talk from outside.
All right.
Focus, like I've said, they should focus on. They should take it one game
at a time. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, to the Chelsea one over the weekend, Arsenal versus United at the Emirates. United were looking to smuggle themselves into the title race. A victory today will have meant so much for United in terms of title race. That derailed Arsenal's ambition as well to be crowned English champion, or should I say, definitely, I think Arsenal have played the top 4. So whatever I see that we're talking about Arsenal right now, it's not about top 4 anymore.
That's the championship.
Yeah, actually the championship, one way or the other. If Arsenal finishes below second this season, it's a disaster on their part.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they will have it easier. Yeah, I don't think they will have it easier ever again. Not with what Chelsea is doing right now. And so it was a very strict game. Marcus Rashford with a goal. Arsenal answered them within 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Went into the lead as well. Martinez, the poacher from Amsterdam, scored that crazy header to make it 2-2. And before you know it, Nketiah had the chance to score the winner before, but him on his left leg, they had made a wonderful save. But in the long run, that goal that looked like an offside at first, and wasn't conclusive as far as I'm concerned, was counted for Arsenal. Lucky Arsenal. They played well, they played superbly well. I strongly feel Arsenal played better than United, but this is the kind of game that could have easily ended in a draw. Olale, what are the takeouts from this match? And I don't want you to forget this. You mentioned the production about Aaron Ramsey making some silly mistakes. Arsenal could not close back, and I want you to let's put an analogy to how well Mikel Arteta has been able to fashion this team such that what Zinchenko brings to the team is as important as what Thomas Partey brings to the team. I know so many football watching guys will not understand the game of that level. I want you to elucidate on that.
Yeah, well, what's the difference between Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko in this Arsenal setup is when Arsenal have the possession, just like it is probably one thing I think Arteta probably learned from Pep Guardiola. It's about some creating overload and trying to get the advantages on key areas. If you notice it very well, Zinchenko has that tendency of moving into the midfield when Arsenal have the ball from that left back position. Average, so it creates more of like the double pivot with him and
Thomas Partey.
And gives Xhaka a little bit high up the pitch with Martin Odegaard. So off the ball, he probably switch back to the left side of the defense. In all, I think they become more fluid. And again, there is a thing about what when you win games, what it does to you, to your confidence, to the kind of belief you have in the way you play. I think overall, Arsenal were the better team today, especially in the last 30 minutes of the game. For United, I think after scoring the first goal, they didn't manage the next 10 minutes very well because you were more vulnerable to concede a goal immediately you go ahead. Probably it could have been a different ball game if United had withheld Arsenal pressure for like 10-15 minutes. Probably Arsenal could have panicked, but again, they couldn't hold on. Arsenal got the needed equalizer without probably panicking, without changing anything about their game. And a little bit they were the stronger side going into the half. In the second half, they started the game in the best possible way by scoring that second goal, which for me it was out of nothing. Then what Arsenal should avoid at that 2-1, this is when game management comes in. And again, Aaron Ramsdale, with all the accolades about his performance this season, I have seen him in multiple occasions making some costly errors because that goal, it could be avoided. Tomiyasu was there to attack the ball. You don't need to have you are colliding with your own player. That is poor communication to have allowed Martinez to score. You still have to give kudos to Martinez to have probably put his head where Odegaard leg is. But again, something strong. Like I said, Arsenal, they were at home, they were positive. They showed the desire that they wanted to win this game, and they threw everything at United in the last 20 minutes of the game. They introduced Andrew Trossard, who probably gave them a little bit of more dynamic than what Martinelli has been offering. And for United, I think this was a game that probably exposed the lack of depth in the United team. I think United probably played with, I said something, two-man shot in this game. I can't criticize Anthony's efforts in time of effort, but in time of productivity, what he brings to the game, it is nothing to write him about. Because Anthony could have prevented, for all the talks we said about Zinchenko moving into the midfield, if Anthony was is proving to be a threat on that right side of the United attack, probably Zinchenko will have concentrated more on defending rather than drifting into the midfield. And for Vegas will probably be more useful in games where United will have more possession.
Larger chunk of the possession.
But in this kind of game, I think it's good. What I was expecting was probably to have substituted him and bring in Garnacho, then allow Marcus Rashford to move center. Another problem United need to solve for all the cerebra of what do you call it? Everything. I think it's lack of physicality. It's a major problem in that central player because the Arsenal boys were having a free day against him.
Saka scored the first one against
any other person. they are really capitalizing on the fact that he is not that physical. Yes, he is good at bringing out the ball because United, especially with Casemiro missing, United need somebody who can carry the ball from the back. I think that's one area United will need to strengthen. That central midfield still needs an extra body. But looking on the balance of it, I think Arsenal would have been disappointed more if that game has ended 2-2. Of course, United should be disappointed that they in 2 games against Crystal Palace, 9 minutes of the game, they surrendered the game. Against Arsenal, 9 minutes of the game. In 2 games that they should have probably come out with the 4 points, they ended up having just 1. So I think in that case, but I think from what their goal is at the beginning of the season, they are still at
point. Yeah, 100%.
I think the league, what do you call it? Seeing them competing for the league, I think it's going to even be crazy for a team that was in crisis at the point in time in this season. So I think they are going to learn from this kind of loss. The coach needs to be back in the summer. For Arsenal, they passed another test.
Yes,
test, and I think they made. I think what do you call it? The signing of what do you call Trossard is going to make, and it now comes down to. I was telling a very diehard Arsenal fan, he didn't agree with me, that it will now come down to how Arteta can manage his squad in terms of rotating, keeping them happy, keeping everybody the decent amount of game to get. That's what it comes to at this stage, because you don't want to probably make Martinelli feel like, wow, I've been doing this thing. At the same time, you don't want a Trossard to come and feel like, I can't make an impact in this thing. There is a way he now needs to balance
to go about it. I feel we can do it if we can do it between Tomiyasu, Tommy and White. He does not trust them to do what the Jericho can do. So Tierney might not get that play time. I think all of them are pretty happy. Even the guys up front. Even before now, Eddie Nketiah was happy with his game. He comes in, does what he needs to do. Fabio Vieira might be another one, quote and unquote, because of the way Fabio is right now. But Kachi, I want to come to you. The antics of Mikel Arteta have been criticized over the past couple of weeks. He does not stay within the technical area. We saw that again today. He got a yellow card for that. And the fact that Casemiro was not available for United. How did that change the dynamics of the game for United? And how well behaved should Mikel Arteta be, or this is something that is expected? He should translate the energy to his players from the bench.
It's very hard to fault Mikel Arteta because it looks like he could still be playing for Leeds United or Wolves even at this age. Maybe not for the biggest team, but at least still be playing in the Premier League. I think the team needs, because the single loudest voice in that room is Granit Xhaka. So they need a coach that is also as loud and active as Mikel Arteta is right now. I don't have any reason. It just has to be careful if for those yellow cards not to pile up. The team is responding correctly to him. But to the second part of your question, I said this during my initial monologue that the result might have been different if a certain Casemiro was on the pitch. I know both teams came out to play 4-3-3, albeit United playing with Bruno Fernandes as the top of a 3 midfield diamond. I don't think they would have had Eriksen. Probably Eriksen wouldn't have. Let's say McTominay obviously wouldn't have started the game. It would have been much more steely because the ease with which Arsenal, especially after United got their second goal, from the 55th minute onward to the end of the game, United did not have a shot on target.
Wow.
Arsenal had 25 total shots. United had 6 total shots in the game.
Wow.
And all that would not have happened I'm not saying they probably won't win. I'm not saying so. I still believe the result would have probably ended in a draw or a surprise United win with a certain, because there's just a confidence Casemiro gives for them to try and find the equalizer. When that
Arsenal had 63 touches in Manchester United, and that's the highest by any team against any opponent in the Premier League this season.
Wow. And that is what Casemiro would do. He would disrupt the flow of Arsenal. 2 of those 3 goals came from corner kicks, and they were not direct corner kicks into the box. They played around the United third until they found the killer pass or the killer cross. That is what Casemiro would have done. Disrupt the flow. Pretty much what it does is the water carrying job of any team. So I totally believe the result would have been different. I saw a statistics that said in 3 games that United has played without Casemiro, I don't think they've won any of it. No, they've won only 1 out of 3. They had a 33% win rate. In 3 games he has played without them. They've had lesser attempts. About their attempts on target drops by 50%. Wow. Simply because it's away from that team. So even though he was not a desired candidate by ETH, his availability has helped United get ahead of the curve by 1 year. This was supposed to be a transition year. They weren't even supposed to be in the discussions for a potential 3 years. But the addition of singular addition of Casemiro has created the steel and the gap. Because people seem to forget he's a Brazilian. He reminds me essentially of Gilberto Silva. He's just a shorter Gilberto Silva, very steely, but can still get you goals or make those kind of passes. So I think his absence played an impact. ETH knows it. However, that does not take away from the fact that Arsenal has passed another major test. Test of character. They went behind. Their character did not win. They came back. They got the lead. They were pegged back, which is another major test. Do you settle for a draw and call it a day? But they kept pushing. And like I said, from the 55th minute to the end of the game, as it was all Arsenal getting the chances, reaction saved by De Gea, but ultimately the quality of Arsenal was there. So,
all right, perfect. And honestly, I'm actually happy for Arsenal fans. I see what Trossard brings to their team from the left-hand side. And I think I was discussing this with Ali before we started the show. I'm worried about Martinelli. He's a great player. I'm not knocking it also, but I just want to see that flair, that dribble, not just speed and all. But with Trossard, I think they have someone that can actually help them. And Arsenal is actually building a dynasty of players, of relatively unknown players that would not come to your, because sometimes teams enjoy or players enjoy system football. Individually they might not be so good, but when they are within a system they try. Because all these Arsenal players outside Arsenal, like who's Tomiyasu, who's Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba, Aaron Ramsey are relegated like 2 teams. If you tear the team apart, it's a different ball game. But when they come together as a unit, it's something entirely different. And that's what I think. Imagine the kind of fear that Arsenal fans had when Gabriel Jesus had injury, Wilede Nketiah Fiti. Eddie has probably scored as much goals in the Premier League as Gabriel Jesus has done over the course of the season. So that just goes to show you that there's something sticking them together, tying them together, and that's of course my good friend. Anyway, so went from Arsenal to a sad one. Daniel Alves has been remanded in prison for alleged rape. I don't know. I can't wish him well. If he's guilty, of it, he should go to jail. But if he's not guilty, I hope he gets out of this unconstituted. And of course, Jude Bellingham has rejected a £223,000 deal from Borussia Dortmund. His current deal ends in 2024-2025 season. So we could see his move earlier than expected. Real Madrid are in for him, Liverpool are in for him. Some people are saying United are in for him as well. United are trying to get his brother into their team so they can lure Jude Bellingham to the team. And of course, when you have money, this is the kind of player that a team like Chelsea actually needs. A team like Manchester United actually needs. Yeah. I'm going to come to you. Anyways, okay. But you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
I said Jude Bellingham and Haaland were very close to joining United at the point in time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm happy for their career that they didn't make that move there. No, I'm just saying that
Haaland would have been better if he had moved there. Haaland, I wouldn't agree with that. Haaland should have moved to Manchester United. Honestly, it was the real deal. Haaland was the real deal. Right from the book. Jude Bellingham, I understand, he was coming from Birmingham, right? I said, I understand Jude Bellingham. If you had come in as a 17-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid, you probably would not take it too seriously, right? Compared to the progression he had at Borussia Dortmund. But anyways, let's leave that aside for a second. Where do you think Jude should go to?
This is a very tricky question. I don't know, the Liverpool project, it depends on how the Liverpool project works out. I think Liverpool looks more like a safe bet for him. Forget about their performance this season. I think they'll bounce back next year. We've seen this before. I think they are suffering from that. They are very high intensity game that they play that has a tendency of burning you out. And for whatever complaint issues we have with Liverpool, it has been their midfield. Thiago cannot mark anybody, and attacking wise, he's not really contributing anything. Ederson seems like he's out of it now, and even so they need energy in that midfield. I think Jude Bellingham will not be enough. They will probably need Jude and one other player. So I think that project seems to be the safest for him as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Real Madrid looks very interesting, but again, it looks very tricky. Like, because presently there's a Chumani. Yes, Modric. You might look at that, looking at Modric as he's aging, Kroos is aging, so there is likelihood like at a point in time, Madrid will probably have to move on from this guy, and that means those slots will be open. But how soon is it going to be open? And then is it going to be Carlo Ancelotti? Is it going to be there next season? So those are the questions that I think it should probably be either Liverpool or Madrid. But for me, I think for the safest pick, I'll probably go for Liverpool.
Okay. What about you, Kachi? Chelsea, Liverpool, Madrid, or Manchester United?
I think it's too early to consider Madrid. Madrid obviously they don't take a lot of unproven prospects, especially because of what they've done. I think Madrid's midfield trio for the future is already set in Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Federico Valverde. So he will be a surplus, yes, but not the best move for him. I think between the style of football Liverpool plays and what I believe ultimately Man United will play by ETH, one of those two clubs. And the reason I would choose Liverpool is, for say all you will about ETH introducing a good style, everybody seemingly doing well. The day he gets 3 games, he goes on a 3-game slump, or begins to churn out results like Klopp is currently churning out for Liverpool, the fans will remember that the Glazers are not doing well, and the Glazers will make a knee-jerk reaction by sacking ETH. So for stability purposes, and because I think right now where he would immediately come in and and start impacting the team with the Liverpool. Milner is old. Henderson is not delivering at the level he was delivering before. I would rather see him in the Liverpool shirt, not because I have any potential horse in the race, but simply only because it will be a stable environment and he can start playing almost immediately.
All right, perfect. I don't know why you guys are talking about Chelsea. I'll prefer to see my Chelsea.
Chelsea is dysfunctional. Nobody wants to. Chelsea right now looks like a family that is divorced, and the father and the mother are just buying the child any toy he asks for so that they will be the good parents right now.
All right.
Todd Bowley is using Chelsea to launder some money, in my own opinion.
All right. Perfect. Memphis Depay has moved to Atletico Madrid from Barcelona as expected. A very good transfer like the one we had with Weghorst, Vincent Abubakar, and Cristiano Ronaldo. It was a triangle. Abubakar has gone to start as well. What should happen to Ibrahimovic right now? Should Tottenham be looking at a mid-season transfer for a big goalkeeper right now? Because you could always
they can make do of Pizza Foster to the end of the season. I don't think it's that bad. They should probably be looking at I think any decision should be left for the new manager that is going to come in the summer.
Are you sacking Conte already?
I'm sure if they don't sack Antonio Conte, I'm sure he's going to sack himself because
you ask for more money to spend.
Yeah, because he can't get what he's going to be. Nobody will give him what we'll be asking for. It looks very unconvincing. Poor goalkeeping against Arsenal last week. I think it was against City. So I think they need to be planning for the future without him. I'm sure probably it could be a motivation thing. It could be like most like sometimes when you've seen it all and you feel like looking at the Tottenham challenge, it's not like they look like they are going to win the league.
Exactly. So Kachi, do you have Kolari sentiment as well?
Yeah, I think they should go for a mid-season purchase. I'm not sure what Dean Henderson's contract situation is now, but they definitely. I don't think Foster is the solution, except they've resigned themselves to drop out of the race for top 4. Then they can settle with Foster and then see what they can get at the end of the season. But right now, it's obvious, and I think the handwriting was on the wall. I saw some of the performances at the World Cup. As soon as he got fully tested, it looked like he was a leaking basket.
Was always going to fall to the back.
Yeah, so even in his peak period, he always had howlers such as what he had against Arsenal. So it's not strange. He should not be a number one goalkeeper for a team looking to compete anymore. Definitely Tottenham should go to the market. There's just a dereliction, so to speak, of talent in that goalkeeping position. And I can't even think of an immediate name to go in there, except Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford wants to now play for a team that competes, and because Pickford needs to leave Everton
as soon as possible. Yeah. As soon as possible. Anyways, Johan Klopp had this 1,000 game, and it was like, thank God, it's not like Arsene Wenger that lost his 1,000 game 6-0. That was a low blow to Arsene Wenger. But congratulations to Johan Klopp. He has done really wonderfully well for himself. And we were talking about Klopp. It was just unfortunate to be in the same era with Guardiola. It's not easy when you are playing with Guardiola. He's a tactical genius in the first instance, and he has unlimited amount of money to spend. So it makes it difficult for him to even buy against such a coach. And Juventus has had a 15-point reduction and they moved to the 10th is
position. Yeah.
in the Italian Serie A right now. How happy are you, or how sad are you for the problem?
Uh, I mean, different because we know that if you remember the famous Calciopoli scandal involving Juve and Inter Milan, I think AC Milan was also docked some point, but it was just they were just guilty by association, not necessarily because they were found guilty. Juve has always had this unenviable record of trying to interfere with league happenings, league results, league games, league matches. Financial inappropriations or misappropriations rather. So I'm not surprised. For me, it's one less hurdle, but it's not our strongest hurdle. If Napoli was the one docked 15 points, then I'll probably be happier. And that's just for the point. So Napoli, by far and large, are the best team right now. Probably in Europe, you can argue that. But yes, I think Juventus management need to look at themselves and go, why is this always happening? If you are the single, today I broke up with this girl, I broke up with the other girl, in 3 months I broke up with 4 girls, the single consistent factor there is me. That means the problem has to do with me. So I think the problem has to do with Juventus and how they go about managing their finances.
Yeah. All right, perfect. And of course, do you think, just before we go, and that this is the last question, do you think Victor Osimhen is going to play Gary record as being the first African to be the top highest goal scorer in this area?
Yeah, if it is not Victor Osimhen, it will be Lookman Ademola right now. They are currently first and second. I totally believe Osimhen will do it because he has shown a good sign of maturity in his link-up play, which was my issue with him before. Last year, he always seemed like he was waiting for the ball in the final third, but he has improved in his link-up play. The creative minds
in Napoli.
I almost said Di Natale, but not Di Natale. In Kvaratskhelia, and their captain, I can't remember why his name was
Mario Rio.
Thank you very
Mario
much.
Rio, yeah.
They are now looking for him more to finish these chances. His positioning has never been in doubt, starting from his under 17 days. It was his link-up play, and the fact that he has also added some bulk to his frame has made him a defensive nightmare. I think he can add another 10, 12 goals to the 13 he currently has, end the season with 25 in the league, and finish with whatever they call it. It's not the Pichichi now, but my Italian just skipped my mind now. But yes, he looks good for it. But if it's not him, based on what Ademola Lookman is doing, Lookman will be a very safe second best.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Robo Kashim, for that wonderful analysis. Thank you, Ali, as well. That will be the end of the show. We'll see you again. If you enjoyed this show, please like, subscribe, and share to your friends and family. We love you and have a wonderful sporting day. Bye, guys.